Is it possible for someone to suddenly speak ancient, dead languages they've never learned? This question lies at the heart of one of the most famous exorcism cases in modern history. A story so chilling it inspired the classic horror film, The Exorcist. It all began in the late 1940s with a 14-year-old boy, known by the pseudonym Roland Doe, or sometimes Robbie Mannheim. After his aunt, a spiritualist, passed away, strange things started happening around him. His bed would shake violently, furniture would move on its own, and scratching sounds would echo from the walls. Objects would levitate and fly across the room, seemingly aimed at anyone who entered. His terrified family first turned to doctors and psychiatrists, but they couldn't find any medical explanation for the bizarre events. Desperate, they sought help from the church. The local priest witnessed the paranormal activity firsthand and believed the boy was under demonic influence. The case was eventually escalated all the way to the Vatican, which granted permission for a formal exorcism. What happened next is the stuff of legend. The exorcism was a grueling, 2-month-long ordeal. Priests reported that the boy's voice would change, becoming deep and guttural. He would exhibit superhuman strength, breaking free from his restraints. Most shockingly, he would allegedly speak and understand languages he had no way of knowing, including Latin and Aramaic, the very language spoken by Jesus. Words like hell and evil would mysteriously appear as welts on his skin. The priests, led by Father William S. Bowdern, documented everything. They described a spiritual battle of epic proportions, with the boy convulsing, spitting, and cursing at them in these ancient tongues. The turning point came during a final, intense session. As the priests performed the rite, Roland suddenly cried out in a clear voice, "Satan, I am Saint Michael. I command you to leave this body now." After a violent final convulsion, a loud noise was heard throughout the hospital, and then ... silence. The boy seemed to wake from a trance, with no memory of the events. He simply asked, "What's going on?" From that moment on, all paranormal activity ceased. Roland Doe went on to live a completely normal, uneventful life. To this day, the case remains one of the most well-documented and debated accounts of exorcism. Was it a genuine case of demonic possession, or a complex psychological episode? The answer remains shrouded in mystery. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into unexplained mysteries. See you next time. In the quiet town of Erling, Iowa, back in 1928, a story unfolded that still sends shivers down the spine. This is the tale of Anna Eklund, a devout woman who, by the age of 14, began showing signs of something truly terrifying. It wasn't a typical teenage rebellion. Anna displayed a strange aversion to religious objects, spoke in languages she'd never learned, and seemed to possess knowledge of things she couldn't possibly know. Her family was convinced she was possessed. The local priests tried to help, but the phenomena only grew stronger. Anna's case eventually reached Father Theophilus Riesinger, a well-known exorcist. What he encountered was unlike anything he had seen before. During the rituals, Anna's voice would contort into deep, guttural tones, and she would levitate, her body defying gravity in the most unsettling ways. The entity, or rather entities, claimed to be multiple demons, including Judas Iscariot. They taunted the priests, revealing their secret sins and attempting to break their faith. The battle for Anna's soul was a long and arduous one. The first major exorcism took place over 23 days. The small convent where it was held became a spiritual war zone. The nuns assisting Father Riesinger reported foul odors, objects flying across the room, and a constant barrage of verbal assaults from the demons speaking through Anna. They described how her face would contort into horrifying shapes and her body would swell up, becoming so heavy it was impossible to move. Finally, after a grueling process, on December 23, 1928, the final demon was expelled. Anna collapsed exhausted but free. She had endured a total of 27 documented exorcisms throughout her life. Her story was later documented in a pamphlet titled "Begone Satan," and remains one of the most intense and well-documented cases of possession in American history. It serves as a chilling reminder of the battles that can be fought not just in the world around us, but within us. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories. Have you ever heard of being possessed by a spirit? But one day, something strange happened. He suddenly fell ill, and when he woke up, he claimed to be possessed by a powerful spirit. He started revealing secrets about everyone in the village. First, he pointed at the village elder and said, "You secretly took 3 chickens from your neighbor last month." The elder turned pale and admitted it was true. Next, Keen looked at a wealthy merchant and declared, "You've been cheating your customers by using a faulty scale." Day after day, Keen exposed the hidden wrongdoings of the villagers, from small lies to bigger deceptions. The village was in chaos. People became afraid of Keen. They stopped visiting each other, fearing their own secrets would be the next to be revealed. The once friendly community was now filled with suspicion and mistrust. Husbands and wives argued, and neighbors avoided eye contact. The village that was once full of laughter fell silent. He said, "Friends, this spirit has shown us our faults, but it has also destroyed our bonds. Perhaps the real lesson isn't about exposing sins, but about finding forgiveness and trust again." The villagers looked at each other, their faces filled with regret. From that day on, they started to change. The merchant corrected his scales and offered refunds. The elder returned the chickens with an apology. Slowly, the trust and harmony returned to the village, stronger than before. The villagers never forgot the lesson they learned. A community built on honesty and forgiveness is stronger than one ruled by fear and suspicion. What do you think? Was it a real possession or something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Have you ever heard of a story so strange, so unsettling, that it makes you question everything you thought you knew? Today, we're diving into the baffling case of Brian, a young boy from a small town who possessed a truly bizarre talent. From the age of 5, Brian began drawing. Brian drew demons. Now, I know what you're thinking. They were intricate, detailed, and depicted creatures with a consistency that was downright eerie. He drew them with multiple eyes, twisted horns, and bodies that defied earthly anatomy. When his parents asked him where he got these ideas, his answer was always the same. "They show themselves to me when I close my eyes." His family was understandably concerned. They were a regular church-going family and had never exposed Brian to any kind of horror movies, comic books, or dark mythology, who found Brian to be a perfectly normal, happy, and well-adjusted kid, apart from his unusual artistic subjects. He saw them more like fascinating subjects to be studied and documented on paper. As Brian grew older, his skills developed, but his subject matter never changed. He filled sketchbook after sketchbook with these otherworldly beings. One day, his art teacher stumbled upon an old, obscure book of ancient demonology in a university library. As she flipped through the pages, her blood ran cold. The centuries-old illustrations in the book matched Brian's drawings with astonishing accuracy. Demons he claimed to have only seen in his mind. How could a young boy, with no prior knowledge or exposure, perfectly replicate ancient depictions of mythological creatures? Was it a case of an overactive imagination tapping into some collective unconscious? Or was something more mysterious at play? Remains one of the most perplexing and thought-provoking tales out there. What do you think is the explanation? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this mystery, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Have you ever heard a story so strange, so unsettling, that it makes you question everything you thought you knew? Today, we're diving into the chilling case of a man who under the influence of something otherworldly, could predict the exact moment of someone's death. Our story begins in the early 20th century with a man named Matthew Manning. From a young age, strange things happened around him. Objects would fly across rooms, and mysterious writing would appear on the walls. But as he got older, these occurrences took a much darker turn. During what he described as trance-like states, Matthew would start speaking in different voices, claiming to be spirits from another realm. These entities weren't just making small talk. They started making predictions, and the most terrifying ones were about death. He would name a person, often someone he barely knew, and state the precise date and time they would pass away. Imagine the fear and disbelief of the families involved. At first, people dismissed it as a cruel prank or the ramblings of a troubled young man. But then, the predictions started coming true, one after another, with chilling accuracy. A neighbor, a distant relative, a local shopkeeper, each one passed away exactly as the voices had foretold. Doctors and paranormal investigators flocked to study Matthew. They conducted countless experiments, trying to debunk his abilities. They'd lock him in secure rooms, monitor him around the clock. But the predictions continued, and so did their uncanny accuracy. Was he truly channeling spirits, or was it some undiscovered power of the human mind? Matthew himself was terrified by this gift. He didn't want this ability. He just wanted a normal life. Eventually, he learned to control the phenomena, focusing his energy on healing rather than predicting doom. His case remains one of the most well-documented and baffling accounts of psychic phenomena in history. What do you think was happening? Was Matthew Manning genuinely possessed by spirits who could see the future? Or is there a scientific explanation we just haven't discovered yet? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy diving into the unknown, make sure to subscribe for more strange stories.